and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today we're talking about the top 10 Queen Elizabeth facts you didn't know from the time before she became queen. Before we get into this video, why don't you guys let me know which country you live in and whether or not you have a king or a queen. There actually aren't too many of us left that do, so it'll be very interesting to hear. Also, do you guys watch The Crown? It's one of my favourite TV shows on Netflix, and it showcases the Queen and the whole royal family so well. Princess Margaret for life. Also, while you're down there leaving me a comment, why don't you like this video and share it with a friend. Alright, coming into number 10, she wanted to marry a farmer. Customarily, royal people wed other royals or members of high society. The Queen did not grow up thinking that she'd ever be queen, as her uncle was the one on the throne. When he abdicated, she then became second in line after her father. Growing up living in a house rather than a palace, the Queen loved animals, particularly dogs and horses. When she was young, she proudly declared to one of her nannies that she wanted to marry a farmer so she could have lots of cows, horses and dogs. The dream! In reality, her family would have lost it had she tried to marry an actual farmer. When she met her husband, in the end, she was 13 and he was 18. More on that up next. Coming into number 9, her parents did not like Prince Philip. Despite Philip coming from Greek and Danish royal blood, his heritage contained a dirty word in 1940s Britain: German. Not only did Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark have family with strong Nazi links, he was also quite a brash man. Having met Elizabeth when she was 13, the pair didn't become involved until she was 17, but he was still 5 years her senior. At the time, her family considered this too old for her. King George VI reportedly considered Philip rough and ill-mannered. Her mother, the Queen Regent, also regularly clashed with the self-assured Navy man. Her parents would rather her have married her childhood friend, Lord Porchester. Despite their resistance to Philip, he and Queen Elizabeth were the first ruling couple in Britain to celebrate their diamond wedding anniversary, so they must be doing something right. Coming into number 8, we have her middle names. Do any of you guys know the Queen's real full name? Do you know her middle names? I know that her last name is Windsor, but I didn't know her full name until I was researching this video. So the Queen was christened as Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor by the Archbishop of York at Buckingham Palace in 1926. Coming into number 7, her house was bombed during World War II. Elizabeth's younger years were happily spent living at 145 Piccadilly near Hyde Park. When she was 10, she had to move to Buckingham Palace as her dad had ascended to the throne. All monarchs have to live there. During the war years, the royals stayed in Buckingham Palace. Now, a lot of bombs fell near the palace, but it was worst hit on the 13th of September 1940. Often the royals were woken at night and sent into the underground vaults of the castle. Like Prime Minister Winston Churchill, they all slept in siren suits. These were zip-up all-in-one jumpsuits designed for warmth and practicality in bombing raids. The Queen said the bombing of her home made her feel better connected with the suffering of other people living in London. The Blitz hit a lot of people very hard. Coming into number 6, she was in the army. During World War II, Princess Elizabeth learned to drive and joined the Auxiliary Territorial Service as a trainee ambulance driver. Pictures of her servicing vehicles served as great propaganda for the war effort, and Elizabeth later said this was one of the only times in her life she felt most at one with her peers. Coming into number 5, her sister and her partied in public in disguise. I've got so much love for Princess Margaret, as I already said. She's arguably one of my favourite royals ever. Margaret was a regular partier, but Princess Elizabeth, the future queen, was more reserved. Nonetheless, when the war was over on VE Day, the princesses left the palace and joined in the crowds on the streets of London. They then submerged themselves in the swathes of people in Green Park shouting, "We want the king." They joined in, but nobody around them knew they were shouting for their very own dad. Elizabeth said, "All of us were swept along by tides of happiness and relief." Honestly, I can't even imagine. Coming in at number 4, she was a keen performer. While the Queen is known for her classic British stiff upper lip, she has a wicked sense of humour and enjoyed putting on performances with her sister. There are quite a lot of photos of the Queen in costumes from various performances while she was in her youth. While her acting days were over when she became queen, she has continued to be a good mimic. She was recently heard impersonating an aeroplane flying over Buckingham Palace, and she reportedly behind closed doors does a great impression of the now disgraced Rolf Harris. On top of that, she's great at Renee from Hello Hello and Tony Benn. While I say that her performance days are over, we actually did see the Queen act in a James Bond skit for the 2012 London Olympics, and I absolutely loved it.
evening, Mr. Bond.
Good evening.
Coming into number 3, she's good with a gun. The Queen can shoot a gun, and well at that. She was taught from a very early age. Royal families of the past have been known to enjoy hunting, and the Queen is no exception. This is one area of the Queen's pastimes I personally don't love. Nonetheless, she was said to have shot her first stag aged 12, and one of the royal gillies, the person who assists the hunt, said that it was, I quote, "a fine wee shot for a burn." The Queen was pictured in the 1990s shooting a huge rifle in Surrey. I've got a sneaky feeling if war ever broke out, the Queen would be on the front line. Coming into number 2, she got her first house age 6. Many of us struggle to get on the property ladder, some of us never will. I for one am starting to think that at this point in my life, maybe I'll never have a house, it's so expensive, especially in a city. Anyway, the Queen never has had these woes. As well as being born wealthy, pretty much with a lifelong guarantee of a roof over her head, Elizabeth was given a tiny cottage in the gardens of the Royal Lodge in Windsor in 1932. The cottage is actually a very elaborate Wendy house, it's 2/3 the size of an actual cottage. The rooms are just 5 foot high, and the building itself is 24 feet by 8 feet. The people of Wales gifted her the house, a Welsh style cottage named, give me a second, I'm going to attempt this, Ye Bathen Bach, which apparently in Welsh translates to little cottage. Any Welsh people watching? Did I butcher it? I'm sure I did, sorry. Her sister also played there too, and adults were only allowed in by invite. The Queen now owns 4 homes of her very own, as well as a further 4 as the monarch. Finally, I wanted to end on a fun, cute and quirky fact about Queen Liz, and a hobby of hers that began before she took the crown. The Queen collects pepper grinders. Woo! Since she was young, the Queen has collected pepper grinders, and I'm kinda here for it. One of her favourites is said to be a gift from a friend who bought it from an Italian restaurant. It's said to be a plastic waiter, and when you turn the head for pepper, it's said to scream in a mock Italian accent, "You're breaking my neck!" I'm defending so many people today. Back in 1976, the Queen visited Trinity Church in New York as part of her trip to the United States for the nation's bicentennial of American independence celebration. Now, during that trip, she collected 279 years of back pay from the church in the form of, wait for it, 279 peppercorns. Perfect for her hundreds of pepper grinders. Quirky old Queen. Okay, there we have it. Those were some pretty cute and interesting facts about the Queen of the United Kingdom before she became Queen. And we can see that her wit, quirkiness and humour have carried over into her reign. A lot of people alive in the UK today, including myself, have only ever known one monarch, and she'll be remembered with fondness not just as Queen Elizabeth II, but as the human that is Elizabeth Alexandra Mary. So guys, what was your favourite fact on this list? Do you know anything else that I don't know? Also, do you watch The Crown? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'm so excited for season 3. Yes! Okay, I'm gonna read out some comments from one of my most recent videos, which is totally unrelated to this, but I know that you love hearing your comments read out. And this was from the top 10 worst things convicts have said to a judge. Little reminder for you, the Queen can't be sent to jail. Tying it in. Seamless. Tony Remmer has an idea of how to deal with some of the foul-mouthed tirades in the list. She said, "Rebecca, if I was a judge, I'd have taken the foul-mouthed punks, take a huge bite out of lava soap. Then I'd sentence them 1 week for each threat, profane word and racial slur in prison." I like that idea, but also just 1 week? Maybe more. Tony Stewart said, "Rebecca is awesome. Like if you agree." Like, thanks Tony. 2 Tonys so far. This is the Tony comment section. Finally, we have a great comment from Wild Serval, who I assume is actually called Tony, and they said, "Hey, I have a few suggestions for future videos. More space videos. For example, top 10 facts about the solar system planets, or top 10 most beautiful things in space, or top 10 safest places in space." I like that idea. They also said for some creepy videos, maybe the top 10 most famous ghosts, or top 10 haunted graveyards, or top 10 most dangerous haunted places. I love that. They also suggested the top 10 strangest animals, or the top 10 most beautiful photographs, or top 10 most unbelievable photos. Oh my goodness, you need to come and work here because you are an idea factory. Thank you guys. Also guys, thank you for watching to this end of the video. If you do want to leave me a comment, then maybe I'll read it out in a future video. If you haven't liked this video yet, then please do leave a thumbs up, share with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing lists. I'm Rebecca Felgate, see you soon!